So last week we did genetics, and guess what? We're doing genetics again this week. Let us review. Our cells contain chromosomes. Our chromosomes are made up of DNA strands. Our DNA strands are made up of genes and DNA building blocks called nucleotides. We have 46 chromosomes. 2 of those chromosomes are called sex chromosomes. Girls are X plus X, boys are X plus Y. How genes work. You have 23 pairs of homologous chromosomes. Each gene or gene group on one of these chromosomes act together with its partner on the other paired chromosome, giving instructions to create or control one of your characteristics. Genes for certain features such as eyes, hair, color, or blood group have different forms called alleles. So a gene pair might be made up of alleles giving identical instructions or alleles giving different instructions. One gene may order green eyes, for example, and the other blue eyes. In such cases, either one gene will be dominant, overruling the other recessive gene, or they will both have an effect, in which case they are called co-dominant genes. For example, a green eye color gene is dominant over a blue one. So if you have one blue and one green, you will have green eyes. You need 2 blue color genes to have blue eyes. The diagram below shows how different pairs of blood group genes result in different blood groups depending on which gene is dominant. The gene for blood group A is dominant, see capital dominant, and the gene for group O is recessive, small letter. The 2 people on the right are blood group A. Why? Because dominant A, recessive dominant, yeah, I'm talking about this one. This one's recessive, this one's dominant. The dominant one wins, so he is A. Okay, the gene for blood group B is dominant. See, dominant. And the gene for group O is recessive, like I'm tiny over here. The 2 people on the right belong to blood group B. Why? Because B is dominant and O is recessive. So B wins. Okay, but this one has 2 recessive O's. That means because neither one is dominant, of course, the O still wins. 2 small dogs fight over bone, one of them is going to win. And then A and B are co-dominant. So this person belongs to the AB blood group because both A is dominant and B is dominant. So both of them are the winners. Cool. If the genes in a pair are identical, as with the AA person, the person is homozygous for that characteristic. In this case, the blood group. If they are different, like the one that was AB, the person is heterozygous, whatever that might mean. Some diseases, for example, a disease called cystic fibrosis that affects the lungs, are caused by recessive genes. A person who has a pair of these genes will have the disease. So if they've got both of the genes, not just one, someone who just has one of them paired with a normal gene, it will not be affected by the disease. But because you have one of them, you are a carrier. The recessive gene can be passed to the children. Sad. Sex-linked genes. Some characteristics, for example, color blindness, show up more often in males than females. This is because they are caused by recessive genes found on the X chromosome, which do not have partners on the Y chromosome to overrule them. Unpaired genes on the X chromosomes are called sex-linked genes. In the genetics, genes are represented by letters. A capital letter shows that a gene is dominant, and a small one shows that it is recessive. The diagram next door here shows what might happen if a female carrier of a recessive color blindness gene has children with a man with a dominant normal sight gene. So the X chromosome is pink and the Y chromosome is blue. So if the mom gives her first chromosome to her kid and the dad gives his to his kid, then the girl has normal sight because that big C means dominant normal sight. But then this small one here is color blindness. So she gives color blindness to her daughter, but her husband gives a normal one. And which one's dominant? The big one. So she has just got normal sight, but she's carrying the gene to her probably son or daughter. So and then mom gives her normal gene to her son, and dad gives his Y chromosome. Because it's the Y chromosome and the normal one, the boy will have normal sight. But then in the next one, the mom gives her colorblind chromosome to her poor son. And the dad gives his Y, and the Y cannot fight the C, and the child is colorblind. So sad. You have 23 pairs of homologous chromosomes. How many pairs? 23. Genes for certain features such as eye or hair color or blood groups have different forms called alleles. Dominant beats recessive, and carriers are people that have a gene but is not affected by it.